Aloha, my name is Enliv, and today I'm talking about pushing yourself into the future. I originally had this video already. I already made like a video like a few days ago, but for whatever reason, it didn't get uploaded, and that sucks because it was really good for the most part, right? But I feel like it's better now, and I make it now because then I have oh dang, it's hot in here. But then I have a better understanding and get more of a clarity and probably explain it a little bit better. Probably not, but a little bit. It's just like I have a little bit more information just added on to that part of it being what I wanted to talk about. So, pushing yourself into the future, this can be anything really that you want it to be. It doesn't have to be something on a large scale. This could be on a small scale. And what also makes me think about something like this is also when my brother says one thing, like always think 5 years into the future, right? Always plan ahead originally, right? But one thing I really like to do is actually already act like it. It's one thing to also think like it, but then it's like, well, what I want to be is like, okay, I'm gonna act like this. I'm gonna act like how I would like to be. So this could be for me. Like, I'll give you an example. Okay, I've been looking for like breaking out of the alternative because everybody I know always goes for Jordans, always goes for the check mark, always goes for you know Adidas or anything like that, right? But not many people go for Converse, and I guess you could say that's a trope. That's like a characteristic of someone who's like a nerd. Anyway, that's what I think of anyway. But I would say something I always wanted to try different sneakers. So before that, it was just the only thing that was in my mind was Nikes and Adidas, and I was like, okay, I'll try Adidas. But it's weird how you ask somebody, it's like, you know what, I want to get some Adidas, but like, no, man, that's don't get Adidas, man. Those are stupid, you know. And it's like, why? It's like, why can't I be different? It's like, why does everybody have to get Nikes? Why does everybody have to wear this and that? So now I'm like, I'm on my Converse kick now because it's like, well, so why you want everybody to be the same, dress the same? It's like I'm going in a whole different way. Like this is how I'm picturing myself in the future, and I should share it because it's like, you know what? I don't think nobody's gonna really like be offended by it or anything like that. Okay, one, I want to wear like brighter colors. For most of my life, I've been wearing darker colors. It's always been blacks and really dark browns and stuff. And it's like, well, what if I get like a bright ass yellow shirt, start wearing that, and it's like, it's like something different, because that is also a mindset thing too. That creates, that's part of your future, Say, oh, you want to wear fucking dark shit, and you're gonna attract dark shit, and it's like, I don't even mean to curse, man. It's like I don't even want to curse, but like that's just something also something too. I'll add too. It's like, okay, you don't want to curse anymore. These birds, man. Sorry, getting distracted. If I look away, it's the birds are like really close, are really coming in. I always like watching them because they're like very like hyperactive. But um, what I was saying before is like that's a mindset thing. It's like the dark colors and oh, I don't want you to wear that because but it's a whole mindset. Even like a group, it's like it's cool if it's like a positive thing, right? Right, and then it's like, all right, we're wearing this because this is our own unique thing. Like, like if the hip hop group Wu Tang or somebody was like, yo, we're collectively using this to push out something that's positive or something that's our own expression of our daily reality, versus we're all a group and we're all wearing the same thing. But as soon as we step out the line and wear our own different shit, just like, oh yeah, you're you're not part of this no more. And even through, even Wu Tang, they everybody had their own different personality. Nobody was the same, or nobody even dressed the same. Some even now, it's like you can tell like RZA and Jizza, like they dress differently. They always had that different vibe to it. Even Black Thought from the Roots, the way he dresses now is totally different from what he used to dress like. Because at the time that was like the vibes, right? But you get older, you start discovering more about yourself, and then you start going to a different path. It's like some people may still want to dress how they wanted to dress back in the day, tweaked a little bit because it's different now. But some people just want to go in a whole different direction, and they have a right to. And that's how I feel. Like uh, it's just like you be around people so much, you start, especially for me, considering I am a Pisces, and that what sucks is like you get so absorbed into other people's realities that you become that to an extent. I don't like to say, I mean, I know Pisces can go all the way and become like another different person, and then that's terrible because they're not acting in their nature. But for me, I always ended up going like the full way. But now it's like I gotta watch myself. It's like, damn, I might be picking up bad habits or something, or habits that people do, and it sucks because it's like I don't wanna be in that whole mode of reality. You know, I'm not perfect at all. I'll make mistakes and I'll be accountable. The whole key is not to blame somebody for your mistakes. It's to just also be aware that is this person influencing me? Could that affect my whole approach into my world? And so that goes full circle into just, you know, I always hear it all the time, create your own reality. But also, you know, you create your own reality, yeah, in your mind, but also visually, just you walking outside and doing something different. Like my friend Israel is coming over today, and he's Sagittarius, so I know he's like pretty like fired up sometimes, yeah, but also he's very like always likes the very logical and metaphorical, like not metaphorical, but very methodical approach to things, you know. And he's a good friend and all, But I could tell like we were different. It's like me, I'm very like embracing this new direction of change, right? I wouldn't even, I don't even like to do that like to people, like have that ego of, oh, I know this and I know that, and oh, it's just I end up having to just be into my own way of life more so than other people. Really, because they end up just like I like to be a trendsetter for the most part. Like I don't even mean it. Sometimes it's unintentional. Some people just like when they watch me doing certain things, they'll end up doing it. Like I remember when I was working one job in a factory. This is a while ago. This is before I was like. This is like when I was like down and I don't know what I was doing, and it's like 17, 18-year-old me. It's like there's not that's like this is one of those factories where it's like there's not much land and you just like it's like I always bothered me. It always bothered me too. It's like I don't like factory areas because they always end up having those weird ass places where there's like barely much land. Of course, there's better ones obviously that have a little bit more land, but the ones that have like those weird pockets of land and it just feels like off. Like it's like when you look at it, it's like here's like a mountain of gray, and then it's like oh, well here is this nice green little pasture. So you can look at it, but you can't go in there because that's where the drain is, and that's sad. And that that you have that subconscious too. You put that in your subconscious, like that can affect people. Like people don't realize just having like being around like concrete all your life, or and never really going outside and having like fresh air. That can definitely create your future if you want to, like, if you push yourself into that future where you end up creating like just that. And it's like some people just never really appreciate the stuff around them. Like, I think personally I have a problem because I appreciate the shit that nobody else appreciates. I look at shit that nobody else looks at, you know? And maybe that's, yeah, I'm a weirdo and I have a problem, but, you know, maybe I have some undiagnosed, like, mental issue and stuff, and I'm just, like, pretending like I'm normal. But, uh, like, I'd be looking at shit. There we go again. You see that cursing? I look at stuff and I see, like, different stuff. Almost cursed. I look at the trees, right? And it's like I start making weird ass patterns in my mind of like how these shits connect. Damn it. Of how these things connect, right? And then that helps me, like, cause it's like telling a story. Really, it's like filling the gaps into your mind. You know, like the tree doesn't just become like a tree. It becomes something you notice in your environment, and then it becomes a part of your story. It's like, all right, okay, that's that's there, and what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna start noticing more. It's like a focus point, really. It could be the smallest thing. It could even be a rock on the floor, right? And it's like I really don't know why in my mind, but it's like I end up having that mental zoom of looking at it and then like looking at it and looking at the patterns and the formations of it, and that could be applied into your life too. You don't have to really do it exactly as me, but just noticing like the little things more could also help you in pushing yourself into the future. Eh, I try to relate it to that, but I'm terrible at this. But I could say it relates to like you being very peculiar about certain things. It's like, because then it's like it ends up playing into your life in a specific way. Say, all right, I notice little patterns. Now those patterns can translate to people's behavior, and it's like, okay, I was like, instead of getting like, you know, messed over with somebody or an argument, or you get left behind with something, you simply like, all right, you just started noticing that it's like you notice that person, their behavior and their patterns, and it's like, okay, I don't want to deal with that no more. As I'm gonna start dealing with these people, and you start pushing yourself into that direction, into a way that's a little bit more positive, a little bit more like cautious, and it's healthier because you're not around that toxic air all the time. You know, where it's like, oh, it's like this person seems good, yeah, well, whatever, I'm gonna go. You say you actually are able to actually understand your position in this universe. You actually understand, like, okay. And that's one of the things that, you know, I kind of went a little bit off topic rambling, but I like doing that too much. But it's one of the things I at least I can relate to, like when you push yourself into the future. Um, this could be the clothes you wear, like I said. Um, even if you have the most, you know, really bad car that's like messed up, just treating it nice, because treating it like it's worth a, a quadrillion dollars, because it's like something precious to you, you know. It's like you just give your inanimate objects love, and then you just start realizing like, okay, it's like paying me back eventually. Like, this is the future path that I want to go into, and it's like we're not perfect. I definitely know like you can relapse into all sorts of realities that don't like being calling your name, and then it's like, okay, don't do that. But you also gotta be nice to yourself because it's not easy, you know. Because you just gotta start slow, you know. Even if you fail a million times and you realize, oh man, am I ever gonna get this? You will, because your repetition is how you learn, and eventually you're gonna start getting into the habit of it. And I still have a long way to go because I'm not a master of it. But the little things that I decided to do, like, I'm like, all right, let me like keep that in mind. Like, it could be even me just having like a bad room, you know. There's always a, and it's funny because there's always a reason too. And you can always have a point where like, even if you don't want to push yourself, the universe is gonna push yourself into the future, a future that you need to be on. Like, oh, like I said before, like Israel's coming over, and it's like, okay, well, I want to clean my room now. It's like I've been thinking about cleaning my room, but it's like, oh, I never really decided not to, to do it. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, you might have guests coming over, and it's like, okay, let me clean my room. And it's like, it's cool. It's like you leave yourself like little messages and clues, and then the universe is like, oh, you forgot. Okay, let me put this here, and then he will eventually do that. So that's just one video. Push yourself to the future. I may touch on this a little bit more into the future. See what I did there? Because, the more you go on with your life, the more you start to actually build gather more information, and eventually, you know, I might probably make a part two of this. Like I said, sometime into the future, it's gonna be quite fantastic. I can visualize it a little bit now, but all the screens are not there yet, so I'll make another video soon. Anyway, it's been Inliv. I'll see you in the next video.